Welcome. In this lecture, we would focus on some of the major topics which were part of the ethical aspects. So, one is the art of balancing work and leisure. Now, this has been given under the UN Convention for Right for Child, the right for child to play, rest, and leisure, and was designated under the International Day for Play on 11th of June. There were various researches which were done at the Angelina Ruskin University talking about engaging children in leisure activities like painting, knitting, pottery to improve their well-being and efficiency and to reduce their stress level. Now, leisure has its own significance. It's more than just a free time, having a freedom to choose your activity, and it's not a form of unemployment which can be classified. So it talks about fulfilling your hobbies, entertaining yourself, driven by your personal choice, and sometimes there could be obligations, for example, travel for work, but those could be a loose essence of leisure that could be taken into account. So, work and leisure relationship has a very complementary aspect and it actually enhances one another to create a harmonious work life balance. Now, the next one that we would focus on is focusing on the idea of public infrastructure and public service delivery. So recently, a bridge from Odisha, from Bihar collapsed, where there was a significant incidents which was occurring, and there were 15 small such incidents which were reported, talking about 15 engineers for negligence and ineffective monitoring. Similarly, another bridge collapse in the Morbi regions in Gujarat, airport roof collapse in Delhi, Rajkot and Jabalpur, and Kanchenjunga Express collisions have been some of the major ones. Now, the public service delivery should be in line with the social contract theory that government is responsible for providing public service to the citizens, and it is a mechanism through which local government deliver their services, which could be in the form of sewage, trash disposal, or basic education and health facilities. Now, there are ethical challenges which come here, which is inefficient administrative machinery, policy issues, the contract method, which talks about the lowest bidder would be awarded the project, but at the same time, you are compromising with the quality, the safety, and the infrastructure at the most important. Corruption, lack of probity has been important examples. Then we have seen similar examples with Delhi floods recently, where there was poor maintenance which was clearly reflected and lack of accountability. The next is conflict of interest of public officials. Now, here the US based company talked about the allegations that chairperson of SEBI has breached the SEBI code of conduct, which led to a conflict of interest. Now, this focuses on nepotism, favoritism, financial interest, focusing on revolving door concepts and personal biasness. So, there is a conflict of interest which arises where a public official has private motives or interest when they are on their public duty, and this could be threatful to an official responsibility. So this was one of the reasons which was brought into account, and this usually occurs when there are either private interest or the conflict to serve the duty which exists. The next important thing that we would discuss is the ethics for the ongoing online gaming intermediaries. So Internet and Mobile Association of India, along with the various federations, have talked about a voluntary code of ethics for online gaming intermediaries to have a declaration by the member of digital gaming committee, and this talks about a safe, trusted, accountable online gaming system for user protection. There should be no issues which could threaten the consumer interest, or there were unstandardized business practices. So to prevent addiction, to combat any kind of fraud, safeguard the minors, and promote ethical monetization practices are some of the important pillars which are part of the online gaming aspects. The next important one we would talk about is emotional intelligence. Now, this is one of the very common topics that is seen in your UPSC mains paper 4 every off and on. So, prepare this topic very well. We have covered a separate lecture on emotional intelligence as part of the psychology series. So refer that there is a significant difference between IQ and EQ, which is intelligence quotient and emotional quotient. Emotional quotient includes the ideas which are governed by environment, social factors, to actually test and have self-report abilities. In contrast to IQ, which is more related to the standardized performance according to their age groups, which does not take into account the environmental and the social factors. The next is social influence and persuasion in times of social media and influencers. Now, social influencers are playing a very, very important role in shaping public opinion, choosing consumer preferences, and impacting the fashion trend. So, this needs to be actually taken into account, and this was one of the studies that has been part of the recent Nobel laureate, and we have covered that as a possible answer writing question for your upcoming examination. So, a discussion on the online media and social influencers. So, very important topic, not that much for your prelims, but of course for your mains. And the endorsement know-hows guidelines should be required, whether it is a collaboration, paid promotion, or a sponsorship. So, the rules and regulations for that should be very, very clear. There should be no misleading advertisement of the product. The next is in 2023, Central Vigilance Commission actually received 74,000 complaints of corruption against various officers, employees, resolving 66,000 cases, but there are still numerous cases which are pending. So, investigation through Lokpal Ayukt as a primary way have been important, focusing on weak and inefficient bureaucracy, lack of transparency, and weak ruling system is another important issue that must be taken into account. Now, to prevent the corruption, recommending Kautilya's Arthashastra is important, which focuses on implementing an information organization. It could be under the form of Lokayukt, Lokpal, or the CVC, but the idea is to actually work on the complaints which are received, to regularly transfer the public servants so that corruption does not get its roots deeper, to have strict penalties, and right to information should be to its best to bring transparency and accountability in the system. The next is Mahatma Gandhi's compassion. So Ban Ki-moon has emphasized the significance of Mahatma Gandhi's compassion, talking about the implementation of the principles in the UN Charter. So Gandhi's core value of non-violence, truth, peace, justice, and inclusion have been part of it, focusing on interfaith harmony, animal welfare, and political reconciliation is again some of the major vision and issues which have been included. The next is Ratan Naval Tata. He actually was a founder and the chairman of Tata Group, recently passed away, and was considered as one of the most transformative and charismatic leadership personality. Received Padma Vibhushan in 2008, Padma Bhushan in 2000, and is known for his contribution for the Indian work. Now, he has been given the Medal of Oriental Republic of Uruguay, the Knight Grand Cross of the Most Excellent Order of British Empire. He was born in Mumbai, had his degree, had his degree in architecture and structural engineering, and from Cornell University, then a management program from Harvard, returned back to India, founded the Tata Industries, and his core principles was humility, visionary thinking, resilience, ethical integrity, and deep commitment. His strategic visionary leadership led to the establishment of Tata Steel and further growth of the Tata Steel established by his father. His takeaways include compassionate capitalism, talking about that he ensured that 60 to 65% of the dividends went to the charitable cause like health and education, focusing on his remarkable CSR facility values that his business actually embarked. Now, the next is instant justice. So, Supreme Court talked about guidelines for demolishing private properties, and it ruled that tearing down buildings without following principles of natural justice or due legal process, where power dictates justice. So, this was emphasized as an act of instant justice, and it reflects the reckless executive actions which contradict the constitutional principles. So, bypassing any legal due process, public vigilance vigilism, then role of law enforcement, impact on the society have been really important pillars that have been considered. So the demolition process includes the notice, the content of the notice, the service of the notice, which is at least 60 days before the scheduled demolition, the response to the notice, the hearing, and then the final order, which is a order for 48 to 72 hours. So justice concept have been given under the utilitarian theory by Bentham, talking about justice as a social order which maximizes overall happiness. The Rawls theory of justice, which talks about principle of equal basic liberty, and the difference principle, which talks about permitting social economic inequalities only if they benefit the most disadvantaged member of the society. So those are some of the important aspects that have been covered in this lecture. However, as we mentioned, this lecture is more applicable for your upcoming mains, but still sections from it, for example, the Ratan Tata's contribution, etc., are important for your prelims as well. So focus on the topics well, and we'll be covering up next in the upcoming sessions as places in news, personalities in news. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining in.